Saxon Algebra 1/2, Saxon Algebra 1, and Saxon Algebra 2. That's right. We are all here together for a final review for everyone. The green class is not represented because all of those students took the AccuPlacer, or it's not the AccuPlacer anymore, it's the WAMAP. It's the placement test that gets you settled into math at community college. It is the final step in your high school math career, as I define it. And I will help you through it when you guys get to that point. And the trade-off is that when you take that test, it's kind of like the final exam of high school math, so you don't have to take another final. Okay, so here we are. We're going to talk about what to expect for the end of the year test. But first, I have to thank you for rolling with me last week. A good friend of mine landed in the hospital and needed a lot of support from me. So I basically lived at Swedish Edmonds last week, and I really appreciate those of you who checked in with me, those of you who got your review problems done. It was so helpful. So thank you very much for that. If you did not finish your review problem with me, I will attach it to your test and you can take it that way, okay? We will not have a regular video check-in this week. I'll just play it out after the test. I'll talk to people as need be. Okay, so no more video check-ins. If you missed your review problem or if you have any that you haven't completed in the past, I will attach those to your test. Okay, so let's talk about the test. What's going to be on it? Remember that there will be 10 problems. And there'll be 5 points each. Yeah. We know that. That's the same. They will be from the most recent lessons and I'm going to define that more specifically as since spring break. Now, since spring break, there have been 6 weeks times 4 lessons per week, right? This is starting to look like a rate problem. But I'm not going to make it that. That means, though, that there are 24 lessons that you need to study for, right? And each one of you, if you look on your check sheet, it will lay them out. We were all the same for the first 4 or 5 weeks, and then it just got a little weird as I adjusted at the end. Algebra 1 had no adjustments, right? You guys just went through straight through 120, so you know exactly which lessons, and I'm just reminding the algebra halfers and the algebra twos that, of course, I'm not going to test you on the lessons that we didn't cover. So it's only the lessons that we did actually cover, but there are 24 of them for everyone, even though we didn't do the exact same numbers. Okay, now, here's what I'm going to tell you, though. You don't have to study all 24 lessons because I will not test you on the review problems. If I've tested you on a concept in a review problem, I'm not going to use it on the test again. So that means the lessons that we covered in the review problems, you don't have to study. And I'm going to list those lessons for you right here so that you have them all. 97, whoops. The math teacher can't make numbers. 101. These are the same for everyone, except for this very last week. You guys in Algebra 1/2, you did a problem from 117 Part A instead. Okay, so this is the 1/2ers. All right, so each of you can cross these lessons off your list of 24 lessons. So that means This totals 6 lessons. So when you subtract these from the total, that means you have 18 lessons to study. That sounds like a lot, doesn't it? But I have every confidence in you. Okay, how do you study here are my tips. Memorize formulas. It's super fun, you guys, because almost every single test a student comes to me, and I'm not talking about just like this group of students or this year. It happens all the time. Students come to me and say, do you want me to memorize the formulas? I'm like, yes, 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 yes. Memorize your formulas. Yes, please do. As you are studying, work actual problems. I know it's tempting to just flip through the book, right? You just look at the lessons and go, oh yeah, I remember how to do that. Oh yeah, I know how to do that. No, that's not good enough, you guys. You have to actually work the problems. And you can do whatever you want, but I like to turn your attention to the example problems. And let me just show you what I mean. Everyone's book looks the same on this, so I'm just going to grab whichever one's handiest, which happens to be the red boy. But all your books are laid out the same. The reason I like you to work example problems, let me just find a good one. Here's a nice one. Ooh, it looks really hard too. It'll make the younger students tremble in their boots. The reason I like you to work the example problems is because not only does it provide a solution, it provides a step-by-step solution, and it provides words that explain the step-by-step solution. You can't beat that combination of help. It's the most help John gives you on any of the problems anywhere in the book. So that's why I like you to work the examples, is because you have such a lovely, complete solution here. But if you'd rather work problems from the homework and check your solutions manual, that's fine too. All I'm telling you is that the only way you can actually study for a math test is to work actual problems. You've probably heard my rant before. That's true with any test. Figure out what you need to do to take the test, what you'll be doing on the test, and practice doing that. If it's multiple choice, practice doing multiple choice questions. If it's writing long answer essay type responses, practice writing them. Practice whatever it is you're going to have to do on the test. On this test, you're going to have to work actual problems. So please practice that. Again, as I always do, I'm going to build the test by going to the most recent problems and working backwards. So I'm going to advise you to do the same. Work backwards. From the most recent lessons, right? So whether that's 121 or 123 or 120, whatever your class ended on, start at the last lesson and work backwards, because that's how I'll build the test. So you're most likely to cover the right material if you work that way. Plus, if you do the hardest things first, then everything else seems easier. There's lots of advantages. But work backwards from the most recent lesson to the earlier lessons. And again, by earlier, I just mean since spring break, right? We're not going back. I just grabbed the first sheet and it was Algebra 2. We're only doing this chunk since spring break. I'm not going to have any test questions from back in here, I promise. We already did those on the other midterm. So it's just this clump of lessons here, right? So 97 was the first lesson we did after spring break. So I promise you, nothing will be earlier than 97. Okay, I've said that 100 times, so you understand. The last step, tip, not tip, I want to give you is plan for test anxiety. Some people like taking tests. They think it's kind of fun, kind of an interesting little challenge, and it doesn't really work up much of a sweat for them. Cool. That's cool, right? No big deal. Other people kind of freak out and get super anxious and forget what they know and get really emotional and kind of lose their minds. There's nothing wrong with that. A lot of people have that response, let's just say, right? It's just a part of life. It doesn't mean anything good or bad. It doesn't mean that people who get anxious are doomed to do terribly on tests. It just means you have to plan for it. And again, I'll remind you of all the best tips that really all of us should be following is eat right, have enough water, make sure you get enough sleep. Please, please, please. Get plenty of sleep. If you start to feel stressed out or overworked, go outside, enjoy some fresh air, right? Do all of those things, calm yourself. You do have the luxury of being given a 24-hour window to take this test. I'm going to do it just like I have in the past. I'll review that in a minute. The time schedule, but it'll be just like we've done in the past. So plan accordingly, right? Think of what's the best time of day for me to take this test, you to take this test. Arrange your schedule so that you will not feel stressed. Give yourself plenty of time. Remember, there's no calculators unless I specifically say on the page you can use a calculator on this problem. I don't think we'll need too much. Maybe I won't go into it, but no calculators. That just crossed my mind. That's another question I get all the time. Of course not. We never use calculators. But going back to test anxiety, I'm being a little ADHD right here. Just think honestly about what works you up when you take a math test and plan for a way to manage that. And again, if you don't even know what this is, if you just feel like you need more, Google test anxiety or how to manage test anxiety, something like that. And get some tips, because it's great to know that you're doing everything in your power to do your best on the test. Studying is one part of that, but it's not the only part, right? Dealing with your emotions is an important part too. Okay, let's look at the schedule for the test. It'll be the same as it has been in the past, but let me just review what that looks like. On Wednesday, what are the dates on this? I don't want to put the dates down because I don't want to be wrong, but I think it's the 26th. I will, around between like 12 to 1, I will drop off the test to your front porch. I go from, this is the order I go in: Alexis Lewis, the Ricksmans, the Judds, the Saborans, I won't have to do the Rices, and then the Heplers are last. Sorry, Grace is upset. She hears the front door open. Heplers, you're last. I'm sorry. You always get stuck being last because I go in a big circle and you're closest to me back again. All right, you will then have however much time, whenever you would like to take the test. I will be back on Thursday, roughly between 2 and 3 is when I'll pick it up. All right, remember, I'll drop it on your porch. It'll be in an envelope, blah, blah, blah. You know all of that. Again, any review problems that you have not completed that are a part of your grade, remember that, that will be attached. And you just do those too. Show your work. You've heard that speech before, right? Just make sure you show all the work. And then I will grade and report back to you. Report back as soon as possible afterwards. After I get home. I literally come in from the car carrying my heap of manila envelopes and toss them all over the table and open everything up and start sorting and grading. And then as soon as I get grades, I start messaging people. So I'll get back to you. Now, I still have my policy of I really want people to hit that 80%. Whoops. I want your grade to be 80% or better. Oh my gosh. Sorry, I cannot write. What is wrong with me? I want 80% or better. That's what I'm going for. If your score falls under the 80%, we will have you retake, or we'll address it, right? One way or another. And that's fine, and I will still honor that. But you know what, you guys? I would really love it if you could hit that 80% or better benchmark the first time through. At this point in the year, I think you know exactly what to expect from me, and you know exactly how to study. So we should be able to hit this target. And wouldn't it be nice not to have to retake it? That would be really nice, wouldn't it? I mean, I know no one plans on getting under an 80%, but if you follow all of those steps that I laid out for you right here, especially this one saying work actual problems, right? And memorize your formulas, then hopefully we will hit that 80% and we don't have to worry about any retakes. But, you know, if life happens, don't worry about it. We'll figure it out. And then it wouldn't be a test review video if I didn't say this. Show yo work. And I'm not even kidding, right? Make sure you show your formulas. And show the steps that you're taking. And I don't mean write down what the step is like I do sometimes in the lesson. I mean, just go step by step. Don't carry too much in your head. And remember, show the steps like I do in the teaching videos, right? That's my expectation. What I show you is what I expect you to show me. That seems fair, doesn't it? I show my work, so you show your work too. So make sure you do that. Make sure you show your formulas. I know it's a pain because you have to write out the formula and then you have to like start using it with buckets. I know, but I want to make sure that formula is crisp and clear and you've got it right there in your head. Remember, it will work to your advantage because if you show me the formula correctly, but then accidentally make a mistake in how you apply it, I will give you more points than if you don't show me the formula because I know you knew it. You just made a little oopsie. And always. Message me. Message me while you are preparing for the test. If you have questions, message me if there are any leftover homework questions that you'd like to talk about. And since I missed the check-ins last week, there are a few of you I'm gonna message separately and say, hey, do you want to schedule a video time? So if you're a person that usually works through homework problems with me, we can set up a time now. My friend's out of the hospital, so I'm good. My life has returned to normal as of today, Sunday. So I do have time this week to message with anyone, to FaceTime or video chat, whatever. Whatever the platform, I am down for that. So you can message me while you prepare, and also you can message me during the test, right? It's a little trickier when I give you that 24-hour window because I can't just sit at my dining room table for 24 hours and wait for the calls to roll in. I'm sorry, I can't. But I will do my very best to get back to you. And if the more urgently you want to hear back from me, use a more urgent medium for reaching out to me, right? So if you aren't in that big of a hurry, you can text me. But if you're like, dude, I need to talk to this lady now, then just call me, right? Just call me on the phone, all right? I promise I won't make it awkward. It's weird calling adults and just being like, oh, hey, let's talk, right? I totally understand that. But I promise you that I've talked to many a math student on the phone in the past 20 years, and I won't make it weird. I mean, I won't make it weirder than any other conversation with me. I can't promise that talking to me isn't a little bit weird. Okay, guess what? I'm done. That's all. If I forgot anything, if I didn't answer any of your questions, oh, I guess you'll have to message me, won't you? But yeah, you know the drill. It's just like every other test we've ever taken. No tricks, no fancy footholds. I just want you to show me what you know. And I have great confidence in all of you. Yay. It's going to be a great test. Okay, that's all. Thank you. Goodbye.